Morning gents, welcome to another video of mine. Today I'm going to show you something I've not shown on video before, but I've used countless times over the years. It's a readily available product in the likes of your average UK supermarket. It's not expensive and it lasts a long time. This is probably about my 6th pack of this soap. It comes in a blue bowl. Many of you will be familiar with it for various reasons. You've used it. Some of you enjoyed it, some of you didn't. Many of you have never finished a pot for one reason or another. Anyway, what is it? It's the Wilkinson Sword Blue Bowl Soap. This is a well-used puck. It's fairly well used now. I've used quite a lot of this one. Scent-wise, it's not particularly inspiring. I can't put it down to anything floral or woody or anything like that. It's kind of a generic clean, verging on sporty, little bit of aqua maybe going on. But anyway, it's an inexpensive, like £3 something maybe, pot. That's a semi-see-through-ish. It's not see-through at all, it's just reflecting. The Wilkinson Sword Blue Bowl Soap. So, the rest of the show today is going to consist of fairly sort of standard products for me. I'm going to be using my recently acquired Mueller R41 RG, inside which is loaded Wilkinson Sword Blade, readily available from most shaving retailers. I bought one from my local chemist for £1.70 for 10, so it's a good little bargain blade really. Had a first shave on it yesterday with this razor and a different soap. Performed quite well. One or two little nicks, you know, new blade syndrome that I sometimes suffer with, but on the whole not bad at all. And the brush of course will be a Cadman 26mm silver tip. Wonderful bit of kit. I'm going to face lather. Now it could get messy because there's not a huge amount of room to load in here in terms of height. So unlike Phoenix and Bow soap where you've got plenty of height in your pot, sort of between the soap and the edge of the pot, just to load successfully. So we'll see what happens. Black t-shirt, white lather. Could end up looking a bit like a Dalmatian or a cow. One of the two. So I've just squeezed the worst of the water out of the brush. Dry puck. I say dry because I did test lather it again last night just to make sure it's still good, and it was indeed perfectly fine. So just going to load as best we can. Now I like to load quite a bit of this soap in because it works better with more soap. As simple as that. There's no magic behind it. It's just one of those soaps where you need a bit more to get top results. Now, like I say, I've gone in with a damp brush and it's loading pretty easy. Last night I test lathered it with a synth, fairly wet synth to be fair, and it just blew into life. There was just like more lather than you care to think about. But the silver tip seems a bit more gentle on the soap. Still loading a decent amount so far, but I'm not smashing the bristles into the brush. I don't want to damage them. I'm always a bit more careful with my silver tips than I am the synths, because let's face it, a synth's plastic. It's much more flexible and more sort of damage resistant, shall we say, and plus they're cheap, so I can replace them for peanuts in comparison. So we've done about 35-40 seconds there. Just grab the last few bits from around the edge. I'd say we've got a reasonable amount in there, fairly deep into the bristles, and yeah, let's go. So I've already hot toweled, and just for completion, any sort of pre-lather that's on top of there, I'm just going to just take advantage of it. I'm not going to waste it. Smush it on the old boat race, and away we go. So straight with the old brush on the face. Now I've seen plenty of people say this soap doesn't lather. Well, what can you see on my old face? Plenty of it. That cannot be denied. I would say the scent is just generic clean. For me, I'm good to go. Now we have got an absolute stack load of the stuff in there. It lathers, gents. Don't ever let anyone say it doesn't. A decent load on the brush from a wet badger, and we are rocking. So, dry the old hands off, and we'll have a bit of a shave. So, it's been a very, very, very busy week for me. This is going to be my first relaxing shave of the week, really, because I know I haven't got to get up and go to work today, although I'm on call, but that's another story. So, just going to get rid of a bit on the old nose, and away we go. So you have to be gentle with this razor, and I've never used with this soap before, so hopefully it works well. And so far, so good. It's quite an aggressive razor, so with a soap that's lacking anything, cushion or glide, you're going to feel it. And straight away, it's fine. Short light strokes and let the razor do the work. That's the key. There we go. Simple, effective razor. And the soap is holding up well. I mean, it's not lacking in any particular areas. There's enough glide, which you need. There's plenty of cushion against an aggressive razor. A couple of little tiny weepers, but tiny. And again, key with any razor, but in particular a more aggressive razor such as this, is let the weight of the razor do the work. Don't be tempted to push, otherwise it will bite hard. There we go. First pass, drama free, and ridiculously close, I find, with an R41. When comparing it to my other razors, it's just more efficient. It's quite scary how efficient it can be. I'm looking forward to hopefully November and getting the old tash going and shaving it off with the R41 at the end in brutal, ruthless style. So, back to the lather soaked brush for pass number 2. Anyone who says this soap doesn't lather really needs to look at their lathering game, if you ask me. Or maybe the brush. Because a lot of people will probably be familiar with the brush that you see in supermarkets alongside. Get a better brush and you'll be rewarded with rich, voluminous lather. There's loads of it. It's great. And it's cheap. It's very cheap. Can't really grumble. So, across the grain as best we can. Again, no pressure. Just letting the razor do its thing. If you could levy any criticism against the soap is the scent is uninspiring. It's generic. It's designed, I suppose, to appeal to as many people as possible and be non-specific. I suppose the minute you start introducing a very specific scent, you narrow the market that you can aim it at. Whereas if you just go for something clean, smelling, generic, inoffensive, you're going to appeal to more people. And I suppose that's what they're in business to do. And that's to sell the product. So, whereas we can be fussy shavers, as little awkward buggers, I suppose, we like our cedars and sandalwoods and citrus scents and whatnot. But for the average Joe, they're probably not fussed. And I suppose that's why you find products like this in the supermarkets where all and sundry can buy them. So, 2 passes, 2 happy passes, complete. Let's go for the third and final one. Again, there's more lathering here. Then you can shake a stick out. There's enough here for at least 4 or 5 passes. And there's still absolutely loads in there. So, gents, it does lather and it lathers well. So let's go against the grain. Now, I have noticed with this razor this week, I do come unstuck. I don't think the skin's cut out for shaving with this razor every day. But the only way to find that out is to try it. I've had 1 or 2 days with a few extra weepers than I would ordinarily get, and today is no exception. No irritation, mind, just a couple of weepers, I suppose, where it is that bit more aggressive than the likes of my Bazooka and indeed my 39C. But the trade-off is, for me, I've noticed, is I've been much smoother for the majority of the day as opposed to getting to lunchtime and thinking, oh, I want to shave. So if you want a good day's worth of clean shaving, R41 is your friend. And there we have it. We have a couple of weepers, but most of that I would say is the blade over anything. Because I've been using Astras and Sharks in the R41 the last week or so, and they've been fine. I mean, I suppose there's two variables at play here, the blade and the soap. But I didn't feel any dragging with the soap or anything like that, so that's why I think it's probably the blade. The soap, I didn't find any real issues at all. It was slick, plenty of cushion, and yeah, an inoffensive smell. So, just going to give the old sort of cold rinse, and I'll see you again in a few seconds. Welcome back, gents. I've had the cold rinse. So just to recap the shave, we've had the Wilkinson Sword Blue Bowl soap, the Cadman 26mm silver tip, and the Wilkinson Sword Loaded R41 RG. So, what do we think? Well, of the soap itself, it was pretty good. Plenty of slickness, plenty of cushion, and as you saw, lots and lots of lather. The blade, not so great. I found that a little bit rough today. It was good yesterday, but the second shaving in R41 it was found wanting, and it was lacking. It was quite rough, unlike the Sharks and Astras, which I've done 4 days out of on each blade in the R41 and had no problems. So I probably won't use the Wilkinson Sword blades again in the R41, but it's smooth, it's close. Like I say, there's a couple of weepers, but nothing that I would sort of worry about. Long term, I just won't use that blade in that razor again. So yeah, the Wilkinson Sword Blue Bowl soap, it's got a bit of a reputation of being a bit of a lame duck. I think that's not really well deserved. I just don't think it's as nice a product to use as some of your artisan soaps that you've seen me review on my channel already. But what it is it's affordable, it's easily available, and it works. For £3 odd in your average Tesco's and Asda's and whatever's you might shop in. If you need something in a bind, if you just want to perhaps buy your first soap and don't want to spend a lot of money, can't really go wrong. It works well, and it lasts. This puck's been going now for a long time, and in rotation I've had this puck over a year. It will keep going and keep going and keep going. I've seen, when I used to use it daily, and I say daily, this was when I was one of those people who thought, yeah, okay, shaving daily with a cartridge razor was the only thing you can do, and readily tore my face up. Worse than the R41, I will add. I used to get through one of these in probably about 6 months, something like that. So yeah, it lasts. For £3 odd for 6 months, £6 odd a year, bargain. Can't really knock it at all in that respect. So I am going to go and record my shaving data in my spreadsheet and database. Yes, I do that as well as do videos. I'm quite sad. I like to keep all my metrics and see what offers good value, what blades work best with which razors, and this is classic reasons why I do it. From today's shave I learned that the Wilkinson Sword blade doesn't particularly play well with the R41. So that's the kind of data I can record, go back and look at and say, 6 months down the line, oh, I quite fancy trying that blade. Did it work? Can't remember if you don't record it, but I record it and I look at it and say, yeah, it works. No, it doesn't. Happy days. I avoid the pitfalls later on down the line. I also record all the cool data on the soap. So I say cool, I record how slick it is, how much cushion it has, what I think of the scent, and I give it a weighted scoring, and then I give it an overall percentage, and from there I figure out, is the soap worth buying again? Do I get good value? Does it work well? Happy days. I avoid, again, down the line, those sentimental things. Oh, I enjoyed this about the soap, but you forget the bad points. I don't forget them this way. I record them. I remember. I may share that with you if enough people are interested in seeing how it looks. I'll pull up some screenshots, intersperse them into a video of how the data looks. In the meantime, chaps, I'm off to go and buy a new telly for the bedroom because our one has died. So, this has been Wilkinson Sort Blue Bowl Soap. I have been Nick. I will see you again tomorrow for another video. Bye.